Tales from the Tapes.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Demo from NextSev, and welcome back to Tales from the Tapes. We're here with Anthony from the Gruesome Gazette.
Hey.
And Mike.
Howdy, howdy.
Also from the Gruesome Gazette. And today, we're talking about Mayhem, the movie about an employee, Derek Chow, who gets fired at work, but on the worst possible day, while there's a virus outbreak that makes everybody act on their most basic impulses, called the ID virus, the id virus. Oh boy, this movie. What are your initial thoughts on this movie?
So it pretty much does what it says on the tin. It's just a bunch of mayhem.
Pretty much. I'm sorry, that's just such like a
It's a fitting title.
dude, it's like an onomatopoeia.
Mayhem.
Yeah, no, like when this first came out, because I saw this like way back then, I was a little bummed out because I saw the Belko experiment like right around the same time. So in my mind, they were the same movie, but they are not the same movie, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to touch upon is like, Belko experiment came out first. And then this movie came out after that. And yeah, they're like kind of like about the same thing, but they're definitely different movies.
Yeah, and like I'm trying.
They're both chaos in an office building.
Oh, Belko Experiment was written by James Gunn, so that's why that one got the praise it got. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it.
This one's directed by Joe Lynch, but not written by him.
Oh, yes.
I love Joe Lynch. He did a cameo in this, so when I recognized him, I kind of like freaked out. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, this is awesome. Hey, he plays the Ray, the like tech guy that lives in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Joe Lynch.
Doesn't he play the IT guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that character. That IT guy is so good. So this movie, unlike Slaughterhouse from last week's review, should be fresh on our mind because while you just watched it right before we started this recording session, I was like, well, since he's watching it, I might as well re-catch up on it and re-watch it myself. So while you were watching it, I booted it up myself and re-watched it too.
Aw, we were watching it together long distance.
You just didn't know, BB.
Aw, you're so sweet. Did you also make popcorn that blew up all over your stove?
I could have.
Oh, dude, we don't have a microwave because like I threw it out the window one night, long story short. And so we got that like Jiffy Pop, that's in like the foil that you like hold with a handle.
Do those expire? Because I do have some of that, and it's been like 2 years and I haven't made it.
Dude, I don't know. We just went out and bought it today. But then when we were cooking it, you like rip off like the paper top that has the directions and it like punctured a small hole. So as we were cooking it, it starts going off. Butter is shooting out the hole. Kernels just start flying out. As soon as it gets bigger, my stove literally is a battlefield. I'm cleaning it after all this.
Oh,
so
God.
I hope you had that experience too.
In my mind, I did.
Okay, that's all that
My
matters.
mind is a battlefield. Much like the office of this movie, it is a battlefield.
And everyone has pink eye.
The pink eye, the movie, is this movie. Violent pink eye.
I mean, I'd be pissed off too.
Oh, yeah. Very, 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 very much, yeah. This movie, oh, God. The two main characters in this movie, Stephen Young and Samara Weaving, are two fucking awesome actors. Stephen Young needs more roles.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially more serious roles.
Because I loved him in The Walking Dead, and after he got out of The Walking Dead, I seen him in this, and I was like, yeah, so let's fucking go. I still have yet to see Nope. I haven't watched Nope yet, but I know he's in that.
He's good in Nope.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, no, he's not the biggest character. Like, he's important, but he's not on screen a long time. But when he's on, he nails what he has to do. So he definitely does well.
He does the voice acting for Mark and in Invincible, if you've seen that on Amazon Prime.
I haven't.
It's a very violent cartoon based off of a Robert Kirkman comic.
Well, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's Robert Kirkman, of course, the guy that did the Walking Dead comics.
Mm-hmm.
He has another comic that's a superhero comic called Invincible, which is like, it starts out as a normal superhero comic, but the comic and the show, of course, differ from each other because every time he makes a comic and then he makes a show, he wants to make the show what he thought were mistakes in the comic because he likes to try and fix his work through the TV show. But yes, if you watch Invincible on Amazon Prime, it is stupidly bloody. It is very violent.
That's awesome. We need more violent cartoons.
So yeah, Stephen Young plays the voice of Mark, the main character of Invincible on the show Invincible. Yeah, and it seems like he's in some other things, but I've not seen, a majority of his work, it seems. It looks like he was in Troll Hunters. Oh wait, that's a Pixar thing. Never mind. I'm thinking of Troll Hunters, like that found footage movie.
Oh, no, the fucking Swedish one?
Yeah.
Ah, dude, I love that movie.
I thought there was a sequel that he was in. I was about to be like, oh shit.
Instead, it's the fucking, like, it's not DreamWorks, but it's something like that.
I wish. I wish he was in like a cool Troll Hunters Swedish movie.
He would do good.
Yeah, he would. And Samara Weaving, who I always get confused with the other chick who plays Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, yeah.
Everybody does.
I always think they're the same person every time one appears on screen. I'm like, isn't that? And then someone always goes, no, that isn't them.
No, they're from like 2 different fucking continents.
Yeah, they are, which is wild because they look like the same like white blonde woman.
But yo, Samara, when she's on screen, she is so good. She's like so charismatic. I don't know, like no matter like what role she really gets stuck doing, it's like you feel for her. Like whether she's in like Ready or Not, she also did super well in that.
I was
like,
about to bring that up. I was about to like, she's in Ready or Not, which is another great movie.
It's just she has that fun balance of like almost like playful, but like super serious at the same time, which is why I think her and Steve work so well in this, is because they're basically doing the same vibe but from 2 different perspectives story wise.
Right.
So it's, I don't know, it makes sense like why they end up like becoming friends and teaming up and stuff.
Yeah, this is one of her very first roles starting out before she started getting big.
She was in Ash vs. Evil Dead, I guess, but I don't remember that. Then again, it's been years since I watched it.
Yeah, this looks like, because I think the thing right before, was it before? No. All right, so after this, she did The Babysitter for Netflix, and I think that's what made her like shoot into like the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This was like one of the first few things she did do.
God, they're such a good team together. And the poster is like so freaking good. Her and those like sunglasses she finds in the office, it's just so funny when she puts them on. And I could vision in her head, she's like, yeah, I'm the cool guy. Like, that's what I picture her saying to herself in her head. Like, hey, look at you, you're cool. Like, when you got those like plastic sunglasses on. Oh boy. So yeah, this movie, where would you even start with its plot synopsis? I mean, if you guys want to like try and describe in this one, my brain's all over the place right now.
You want me to take this hand, or you want it?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and take this.
All right. So yeah, so Steve Young plays, God, what was his name? Derek. Yeah, so he plays Derek, who, yeah, he's having the worst day of his life. He goes to work, and not only does he find out that he is being removed from his job indefinitely, but they're also blaming him for a super big, like, multi-million-dollar fall through, because he works for like a lawyer company that works for as a firm for like other companies that need to settle like business suits with each other, and they're trying to blame him for a case that's turning really sour, and they're going to fire him and give him a severance package. And then as he's trying to leave, and as he's going through these meetings trying to get his job back, it turns out there's this experimental virus called the ID7, I think it was called.
I think so.
Yeah, ID7, and basically it causes the red eye virus, which it attacks your id, and basically it just turns everyone into, you're not like a zombie, like you're still completely you, it's just you have no emotional control. Like if you have the slightest thought about getting mad or upset about something, your brain goes, and it increases everything from depression, anger, lust, etc. So as he's trying to have these meetings and he's having the worst day of his life, he's facing all this stress at work, this virus hits, and they all get quarantined inside the building. And he basically just wants to prove his point and take out his anger because he knows that legally there's been an incident in the past where another company had the same virus outbreak, and basically a guy got let off on a murder charge because he was under the virus. So he has that knowledge of like, I'm not liable for anything that happens here, and the government already has recognized that. And then at the same time, Samara plays someone named Melanie, who is basically going to this law firm because she's trying to save her house that she's behind on payments on. And it's a typical story. The bank's declining her. They say, well, you have to talk to the head person, but the head person doesn't talk to people, that kind of thing. And she's stuck in the building during the quarantine too. So the two of them have the same common goal of, we want to go up inside this building because you literally have to go up, like with special clearance, just to like meet any of the upper heads. And, you know, they just want to get what they want. And mayhem ensues.
That it does.
That it does. Holy shit. Fucking this movie has a good quote too about it when they're going around. They say it twice in the movie that not one raindrop thinks it causes the flood.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's true. Like, he's just doing his job and he doesn't think about it, you know, denying her, you know, the appeal on her house or whatever she's looking for. But it's just like, yeah, but, you know, one person doing their job, all they think is them just doing their job, but they don't realize that their one action could make a world of difference. But, you know, if everybody's being dismissive, since everybody's being dismissive, it just causes a whole bunch of shit to go down. And yeah, their shit, in this case, their being dismissive causes her anger. When that virus hits, causes her to want some revenge. So when they're climbing this tower, I see it as, what they describe it as, it's like watching a video game. Like the final boss is at the top of the tower, and you're watching them progress through literal levels of a video game. But the levels are parts of the building.
And then there's like the two mini bosses, which each have a special key card to get to the next key card just to get to the boss.
Yeah. Like this movie is like, if you think of it as a video game, it's just like, it's a beat 'em up. It's a very violent beat 'em up, and I love it. And they got like, the storytelling in it is so interesting too, because they have nicknames for everybody, and the way the story is told and the way that they talk to each other. It's like, they got the dude who goes around and fires people, and they call him like the Reaper because he like takes your job and your livelihood.
Yeah, and he's a guy with a cane, and everybody just knows if he's walking, that means somebody's done.
Yeah, it's like he's death. He dresses in all black. He has a cane, which is like his sickle. He's got a limp. He's like pale. He's like very like gentle in his voice. And then you got like the one chick who's like, she's not part of like the 9, which is like the group of executives on the top floor, but she's pretty much like the CEO's right-hand woman, and they call her the Siren.
Yeah, because she's got that worm tongue going on where she can just weasel her way up and up by throwing other people under the bus.
Always in the boss's ear.
And she's especially pointed out too that like, because she's the one that basically first mentions, or she's not the first to mention it, but she's the one that talks to Derek about him being fired and being involved in this whole thing. And he's like, no, that's your case. And she's like, well, I assigned you to it. And that's what my job is I'm supposed to delegate it. And so it turns into the whole thing of she's also responsible, but since she's working with the boss above her to throw Derek under the bus, she's getting rewarded for it and completely left scot clean.
Oh, yeah.
So you
She's
have
the
that extra
word.
bit of tension on top of trying to just get the key card from her. There's the whole thing about like, well, you're technically responsible for what's happening in the first place to him.
Yeah. It all trickles down from the top, and it's just like the Reaper's like, I'm just the messenger, and the Siren Lady's just like egging Derek's character on constantly, like up until they meet face to face, like at least halfway through the film,
Right.
face to face after the virus hits anyway, because Derek's got to get that key card so he can get up to the final boss, but. So in order to get her key card, he needs the key card from the Reaper. So yeah, it's insane. It's like what they did say, they explained at the end of the movie that how the virus got there, that it was purposefully pumped into the building without them knowing, so they could
Right.
accelerate a cure for it.
Right. So this was a contained protocol, basically.
Yeah, I was about to say, because that it was a little weird how fast the cops showed up, but it's also not a little weird because they expected it to happen. But and part of me hates that explanation as well, because I really want a sequel to this movie.
Right.
Because I'd made a joke on Twitter one time, and Shudder liked the tweet. I said, I want Shudder 2, or not Shudder 2, Jesus. I want Mayhem 2, but I want it in a mall.
Oh my.
I mean, they could always do a thing
Yeah.
where like they follow Derek and Melanie, and it's just like, well, you've already had it once, so we're trying this new version, or some bullshit like that. Like if you get it a second time, it's like twice as deadly. And I don't
The
know.
Omicron variant of the ID7.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Like, see, the stories write themselves, man.
I really do want it though. Like I want one of those like 3-story super malls that's like Dead Rising, where it's just like every store imaginable with all those different things you can use as a weapon, and just like people just going absolutely mental. Like, could you imagine like people coming out of a hardware store and running each other over with mowers, and like that shit would be wild.
Like the Purge, except like not only is it okay, but like you can't help it, and they just kind of encourage it. They like I don't know, when they're aware that everything's happening, they bring in the like one therapist guy who talks to them over the phone, and he's just doing the whole like, everybody wants to help you, and everyone in the building's literally like trying to kill each other while they're on the phone, just like playing nice with him. And like that's their attempt to ease the situation.
Yeah. He's just like, now, Derek, we understand you're mad, but that's just the virus talking. But meanwhile, the person that put him on the phone is the Siren Lady, and she's just doing it to egg him on.
Exactly.
I was like, bitch, you know it's coming. You're about to get everything that's coming to you. You deserve all this. She done took his mug that his sister gave him, smashed it, and then teased him, and oh, she had it coming.
He loved
yeah.
that mug.
He did. He loves that mug.
She's so heartless.
Fuck that lady. Oh,
So yeah,
man.
this was yeah, I think this is one of those movies that had the main character narrating the whole time. So yeah, he's telling you like the backstory of like, of the virus. Pretty much he gives you an introduction to all the characters. Like, yeah, like you said, they all have nicknames. I don't know if it like, and then they were showing like different drawings, like, because I guess eventually it turned out that he was an artist.
Yeah, everything that is like all the drawings that is showing is all of the aftermath stuff, because at the end it shows that he did quit the job and go to art school or
Yeah.
class, and
when
he's painting all the experiences he had while that day.
Yeah, because when he's on the phone with his sister right before everything happened, she talks to him about how like she heard he's been painting, and he's like, "How'd you hear about that?" And blah blah blah. But then she's like, "You should take an art class," and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, tell me when I have time for that." So then that's why that becomes the point at the end of the movies, because like at the very end, when he meets the final bosses and everything happens, I mean, at the end of the day, he not only gets what he wants, but he literally like rejects it at the same time. So he just quits his job straight up and just goes and has time now to do art school.
Yeah, it's like the narration, everything. Like I said, this movie feels like a video game. It's like the narration and the pictures are all like bios for the characters that he's about to fight. It's like, this is John the boss. He's 7 stars. This motherfucker is... This is the guy that I'm gonna take down at the top of the tower.
And it definitely feels like a video game too, with almost like how realistically campy like all the violence actually gets, because the violence is pretty insane in this. Excuse me.
Oh yeah. It's very realistic in its own way. Like, it's not over the top violence, but it's just realistic enough to where it's like grounded violence.
Yeah, because it's subtle things too, like getting a pair of scissors through the hands, or like getting tased in the back, or like a fucking like a crowbar to your neck. Like, it's things that, like, it's not like someone's coming out with like a chainsaw and like cutting through 6 people with one swing, or like someone runs in with a shotgun and takes out half of an office room in one shot. Like, it plays out like very intimately.
Oh yeah. The Reaper dude too, speaking of intimate, he's all like, I wish there was equality for men and women in the workplace, as he's beating up Samara Weaving's character, as he's whapping his cane down on her and crushing her hand and kicking the shit out of her. And he's talking about equality. I was like, we know the equality you're talking about right now. You're giving them fucking equal beatings right now.
Yeah.
And that dude's such a slimy character.
Oh,
he plays
yeah.
that thing of like, I'm too cool for this, and then he turns like, this is below me, and then he just like fucking joins in just because you let your guard down for half a second. Like, he's such a little worm.
Oh yeah. He's like, don't shoot the messenger, and I'm just doing my job. And the whole line when he fires Derek, and he's like, I'll fire that under N for not my problem.
Nah, there's a lot of like callbacks too. Like when he first goes to Derek's office in the beginning to fire him, he was like, can I come in? And he was just like, and if I say no? And then when they get to his office later to steal his key card and basically kill him, he says the same thing to him. So it has a lot of fun callbacks like that. Like Joe Lynch he's good at doing what he does as a director, because he mixes in a lot of really solid humor without the movie ever going too far with it. So it's such a nice balance of like, it's fun, it's intense. This definitely isn't like a horror movie. It's definitely more like action horror, if anything like that. The idea is kind of horrific from a distance, but it doesn't play out like jump scares or anything like that.
Yeah, the violence, it's more gore horror, I guess, but I would say it's like tame gore, not like over the top. It's not Terrifier.
No, it's more like John Wick.
Yeah. So it's more of like the virus, and the violence is the terror of this movie.
Yeah, it's like if the virus from 28 Days Later wasn't as developed as it was.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like that. Like, it's kind of like the Crazies or something, where like there's still people, and these people especially, like, they're still themselves. It's just, there's no filter.
It's them, but it's their caveman brain ooga booga.
It's like, blood. blood. They just walk around and it's like, blood, boobs. And that's like it. That's all they're ever interested in. Oh, and Coke.
I'm gonna Coke ya, ooga booga.
Well, he does the thing. Like, it's perfect for the t-shirt. There's like the part at the end when he does his last line, and he just like rubs a whole fucking rock on his face. Yeah. And his whole face is like white, and he's just like, he's holding up his golf club, and he just goes, mine's bigger. Mine's always bigger. Now it's just like, oh yeah, that's t-shirt number 2 that we need to sell. Put that right next to the Stephen King. We'll just call it the 80s collection, and it'll just be all from coked out people.
All coked out people. Yeah, you can do that. Just the boss character with the golf club and a face full of coke, and it's on a shirt that says "Mine's bigger." Mine's always bigger on the shirt.
Tales from the Tapes. See, we know how
Links
to market.
down below for your merchandise.
Dude, I need to get that fucking Stephen King shirt, by the way. Like, I need one in my life.
I don't think I've ever posted it up, but I have the image. I don't think I slapped it on a shirt yet.
We're gonna have to at least do a test run. Like, we need to do this. We have too much gold here.
By the time this episode goes up, I would definitely have that like on the store, ready to go.
People at home will want to help us with our merchandise, and they're just walking around with just like Stephen King coked out on a t-shirt. That's our image.
Maximum overdrive. I'm gonna scare ya.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I don't know. I want to thank you guys for actually recommending it, because it hit a weird spot for me. Because like I said, I saw this years ago, and like I thought it was cool, but I never revisited it. And I mean, I've been on vacation for the last week or so, so like I was really taking my time getting to it. But like with me starting a new job this upcoming weekend when I go back to work, and like I just quit an abusive job, like it just hit such a weird sweet spot, you know what I mean? Like it was just like perfect timing for like what I actually kind of needed in my life.
You're envisioning it in your head. You're just like, yeah, when I exited my last job, I wish it was like this.
Instead, no, it was actually quite civil. You know, they threw me a pizza party to thank me for my service. But you know, like it hit one of those sweet spots. Like not even like the whole just like fantastical violence or anything at all like that, but just I don't know, just like the idea of like he needed to like let go, he needed to do something better. Like I don't know, the bigger moral picture of the whole thing. Just I don't know, it was just like perfect timing for me.
He's like, screw the office work.
And they're like, here, you can have anything you want at this point. You know, just don't kill us. And he's like, all right, cool. And then he becomes like the president just to like approve Melanie's papers so that way she can like have an extension to pay off her house. And then he quits the job immediately after. Like that's the only thing he does, which is kind of romantic. I liked it.
Yeah. Part of me, like every time I get to that part in this movie, I would have been like, man, I would have at least worked another year under that position, because like getting paid that much, I was like, I would have given myself at least like a week off and get paid for it, and like took advantage of some of that.
You know, something, but I don't know. When you're infected with the ID7 virus, like, I don't know. He was just like, there's no more blood here. He was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Part of me was just like, man, way to sacrifice all that money you could have had. I get it, it would go against his character if he did do it. It wouldn't be part of the plot. But every time I get to that point, I always think, what would I have done? I'd have signed the shit out of that and took that guy's spot.
You just show up for at least like a week or two, and you're just like, wow, this job sucks.
Yeah, I was like, get at least like work for like 3 months and then quit. Like
something.
Yeah, get some money on your way out.
And then take the time to just find a different job or something.
Right.
Like, I don't know. He could have been, you know, more of a big boy about that whole thing, but he was mad.
He was mad and Samara weaving booty.
It's like he got the job. He stood at the table for a second. He signed one paper. He looks over at the giant pile of Coke on the table and he's like, this isn't for me. He was like, I'm done signing papers. He's just like, I'm leaving.
I don't need this shit.
He's like, this isn't me. He's like, I was foolish for ever wanting this.
Right.
Our moral lessons have been learned. Mayhem. You know what? Did you notice when he throws the boss down like the fucking 90-story staircase? He does the Wilhelm scream.
I did hear that.
Or Wilhelm scream. I'm all waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a slow-mo version of he's like.
And then like they never show him hit the ground until like the last literal 2 seconds of the movie, where it just shows like a blood puddle. You almost think it's him, and the camera's slowly panning up, and then you just see his body just drop, and as soon as it hits the ground, it just splats to black. I was just like, all right, thank you, Mr. Lynch.
It's so good. him as that IT guy, though, it was so funny when they got down the stairs and like met him, and he's just his form of id is smashing technology because it's not working properly.
He's just like smashing a keyboard into PC. He's just like, why doesn't it fucking work?
Why won't you work?
And like that's all it is. And then like the guy asked him to do him a favor, so he does his job. Like he's just like, oh yeah, whatever. The only thing he's pissed off about is he just wants to smash his keyboard.
Like, he's nice to the employees and everything, because like that's not where his anger stems from. His anger stems from the tech not working right because they won't approve anything. But when the employees need his help, he's like, yeah, I could do that.
I don't remember if they're friends before this, because I know like he has the one good friend who does turn into like an emotional pinpoint because he does come in to help when Derek's getting his ass beat, and then he ends up dying, and it's actually a little sad with the way that they filmed it with the music.
Yeah.
And then when him and the final boss are doing just like video chats with each other, basically just like sending each other threats, and like he pisses on his corpse on camera, and you just see Derek break down. Like it does hit. It's like, because again, it's so like cartoonish almost, just like what you're actually watching. And like even like when like the guy sends in the video, he's like, all right, now back up. He's like, back up with the camera. And so it looks like shit, but like it's still enough to like make this man break down. It's just, I don't know. This movie has a lot of random little things that happen throughout it that just help drive everything. Cause it's not like Slaughterhouse where it was just silliness and then some chaos and then more silliness. Like this feels more serious, even though it's still a genuinely silly movie.
Yeah,
Right.
there's 3 or 4 sit down moments where it's like has some emotional beats to it.
Yeah, it's very sobering. And then like even like when they go into like their, you know, their disease ridden fucking sex scene, which sounded horrible to say. I apologize, I said it that way.
It was
like,
very hot.
But like even when that happens, like it's shot in a way where like it's cut up with like the people trying to escape from the building. Like it's never played off like scandalous at all. It's really just more of like showing like the moment of like this is where their emotions are at. Like they're so upset, and then it turns into this because they actually are like falling for each other, and like it's again like it just has a balanced tone with what it's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so basically, when everybody starts feeling the effects of the virus, then Derek is basically walking through the building, and like there's so much going through the background that like you like like even though like you're paying attention to what's in front of you, like you're watching what's going on in the background, because you're seeing like all these different things of people just doing random things. Like there's this chick that just like taking sticky pads or sticky notes and just putting them on her face. It's just like so many small things you can just notice if you really look for it.
That's easily my favorite part of the whole movie. Like, I remember especially there's one part where, like, I don't know what they're doing, but there's just like these 2 women at a desk, and they're just like ripping papers out of a trash can and just like throwing them on the desk. And then there's someone else who's just like pouring coffee on their computer like over and over, and it's just like there's people in the background like beating each other to death, and then you have just like silly stupid stuff like that. It's just so fun. There's just always something to look at, like you said. It's just like even the stuff in the background, it's almost distracting, but it's the distraction that you actually are like excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like it's more than just actions too. Like I love listening to people yell at each other in the background as well, because there's so much random shit.
I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna fucking kill you. See you later, Mom.
Yeah. I love that one. That one was so good. It was so out of nowhere. Like, bye, Mom. You're like, whoa, what? It's like it's just so random, because like you're sitting there, you hear like yelling, swearing, you hear random like nonsense, and then occasionally you hear like a sexual moan because people are getting plowed in the background too. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Or like the part where like they're fighting the Reaper, and the Reaper has like Samara on the ground, he's choking her, and all these people just crowd in the door, and they all just start pulling out dollar bills, and they're just betting.
Yeah.
Like, no one jumps in to do anything. They all are just like like silently cheering and just like waging money on like who's gonna win.
Yeah.
There's just so many fun details happening.
It's so quick too. It's like stuff you don't like really even notice or paying attention to it. It's awesome.
Which does
Yeah.
reward the revisiting experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's
yeah.
no way you're gonna catch all of it. There really isn't,
Right.
unless like that's your fucking job. And if that's your job, the first time you watch it, like fuck you, you missed the whole movie. But like, it's just so cool.
My name's Eric Voss from New Rockstars, here to point you out all the details you and Easter eggs you may have missed in Mayhem 2017.
That's fine, but like your first time watching it, come on, like enjoy life a little bit.
I love the New Rockstars channel. I can't shit on Eric Voss like that. I'd love to meet that man. I love that you're just like, if it's your job, and I immediately pull out New Rockstars, and I'm like, my name's Eric Voss, New Rockstars, and I'm here to show you all the Easter eggs you may have missed.
Let's bring him on. Let's have him actually do it.
Oh my god.
We'll do it live on the air.
Could you imagine if we get Eric Voss from New Rockstars? Like, I should email him, be like, hey, you want to watch this movie and be a part of our podcast?
My experience with the Gruesome Gazette is if you never ask, the answer is going to be no anyways.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, dude, just do it. Fuck it. Go for it. You can even pick the
do
movie.
it
I don't
after
care.
It's like, yeah, he's not even involved at all in the movie, but like, yeah, you're about to. If anything, though, if we got him on an episode of anything recent, it'd have to be Five Nights at Freddy's, because he just did a video on that.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I love reviewing movies that the internet likes to fight about.
Mm.
Have you guys watched it yet?
I've not watched it yet.
It is
Nah.
on Peacock.
I don't have Peacock. I cannot get another streaming service. I swear to God. I was just about to cancel Paramount Plus, and then they dropped fucking a new South Park special. So like, here I am for another month, I guess. So
we got Peacock a few days ago specifically for Five Nights at Freddy's, because my wife wanted to watch it because Matthew Lillard's in it.
I love how that's the reason.
Yeah, she's just like, I guess we'll pay the $7 because I want to see my man Matthew Lillard.
Well, man, Lillard's a sexy beast. Like I absolutely feel you're on that.
So I was just like, all right, since we're getting it, I'll watch it with you. And
How was it?
yeah, it was all right for a PG-13 movie.
That's fair. That's really all I can ask for.
If you know anything about the games and the lore, there's some switch ups, but it's not like the worst switch ups where, it's the worst thing of all time. But that's a review for another time. It's pretty decent. When you guys go watch it, let me know and we can talk about it.
I'm
Okay.
sure that'll be on cheap for like Black Friday or something, so I'll pick it up eventually.
Yeah, I was about to say, give it a few weeks when it's out on digital for everyone to buy.
Is there anything else with Mayhem you guys want to cover on? I feel like we pretty much got everything.
So let's go back to so when Glenn's character first meets up with so this is after he gets infected. They throw him into a room, and it's the same room that Samara's character's in. She's just like jamming out to metal. So
Yeah, that's right.
God, yeah, we didn't talk about the whole her and Irene Smythe situation at all.
no, we gotta talk. Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
I
But yeah, they meet up together. She starts beating the shit out of him. It was just like, this is your fault. Blah blah blah. You turned me away because you're a suit and you're an asshole. And he's like, listen, I just lost my job. This is near the beginning of the movie, like he said, when the virus just started. And guys come in, start beating the shit out of. Wait, was this after the friend died?
No, this is I think either when he dies or it's right after, because he dies in that room, but he's like defending them. So I think, yeah, because they don't come back to the room. So this must be the scene.
Yeah, this is right after the scene then, because like I think they knocked him out right after the friend died. And then
That sounds about right.
the boss said, put him in the room with the other one, and the other one was her.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, because when he said that, I thought he was talking about putting him in the room with the dead body, and then yeah.
That would have been a whole different movie. This movie was about to get weird.
It's just Saw. It's just a new Saw movie.
Hello, Derek.
The gas you've been breathing has made you extremely horny. You're gonna have to get a key out of your dead friend's neck.
It made you extremely randy, baby.
The gas you've been breathing in has made you extremely randy, Derek. You must dive into this vat of cocaine.
How the fuck does every single movie turn into the same conversation we've continued from every single fucking movie we reviewed before this? Like, I swear to God.
Because it's the only running joke we have, and we've not been able to find another one yet.
But it's amazing. It fits in everything.
This movie does have a lot of cocaine in it, to be fair.
Right. It does.
Yeah, that's true. Oh God, I'm gagging.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he meets up with her. They start beating each other up, and they Derek, being some sort of technical wizardry genius, knows how to build a Frankenphone from scratch.
Right.
I don't know where this came from. It was never utilized again in the entire movie.
What's the Frankenman?
The Frankenphone, where he builds a phone out of other phones.
Yes. Sorry, I misheard you.
Yeah, so apparently Derek knows how to like just build random shit like he's MacGyver, Jimmy fucking Neutron. So I'm like, that's a skill he has that never comes to play in this movie ever again. And he builds this phone and he calls the client of the company that he was just working for. He calls their CEO and has them essentially terminate business with them, with the boss. And the boss sends his goonies down there, his goons.
One of which is called the Bull, and he is like the unofficial right hand that nobody knows what his job title is, but if you see him, it's bad news.
Yeah. I was in my mind, I was like, when I said his goonies, and I just made myself laugh, like the boss sent down fucking Sean Ashton and Josh Brolin down to the basement.
They just open the door and they're just like, what you doing? Sloth just fucking enters from the back.
I was about to say, the bull is just like, hey guys.
Yes.
Sloth is the bull. He's the enforcer.
Dude, we should make a t-shirt of just Sloth putting on brass knuckles.
Oh my god,
Just
yes.
bullets are for cowards.
That would be so good. I'm putting that in the chat right now to remind myself.
The 80s collection lives.
Yes.
Bullets are for cowards. In suit shirt. There we go. There's
Brass
my
knuckles.
reminder. Brass knuckles. It's time for a beating.
Oh, jeez.
Mama always told me the best sandwich was a knuckle sandwich. I'm gonna scare ya.
Remember, mine's bigger.
Mine's always bigger.
We're like the stupidest fucking people I've ever heard. God, I love it.
Holy shit.
We didn't even get anywhere with that, though. We were still trying to talk about the fucking Samara Weaving trying to get to her boss.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened.
And then we got Sloth in a mafia suit with brass knuckles.
Ah, God. How come Sloth wasn't in Slaughterhouse?
Oh my god.
Like, I mean, I would even just taking like a cardboard cutout that's like in someone's fucking closet when they open it really quick. But like,
Could you imagine? And they're like, I've adopted a sloth. And then they're like,
He
oh,
just
that's
comes
cute.
out.
And then they like open a closet and it's Sloth from the Goonies. Sloth is the killer that moves at light speed.
dude, that movie would be so much better.
I want to see Sloth smothering someone with a pillow while they're in the hospital.
I'm gonna have to do one of those honest movie trailers.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just cut him in. He'll be in the lawn chair just drinking a beer with sunglasses.
Baby Ruth. Oh my god.
But yeah, so Melanie is trying to get to see her boss because she wants to get her papers signed because they were trying to get the siren to sign them, but she said that her signature wouldn't be valid because she was under the fucking virus. So the signature would be worthless. So that's what her demons are. That's what she's fighting for. And she gets to meet her final boss. They set up a meeting in a room. They pat her down. She has a gun taped under the desk, which they've already found, so no need to worry. And then basically they have her entire computer info thanks to Jay down in IT. Is it Jay or Ray?
Oh boy, that is a good question.
So Joe Lynch is in the basement. He's doing IT.
Joe Lynch is in the basement.
He gives them the hard drive with all of her data because they sent her a Trojan to delete her shit. And so she's meeting up so that way they can give her her computer memory back and she gives them a key card that works. And both teams know the other team's not going to play good, so they turn into a fight. And then Sylvia Plath, or whatever her name is, she basically is trying to get Samara. And so she's like, well, listen, Derek, I will give you access to the floor. No fools. I'll punch in the code myself if you give me her. And he goes, deal. And he just basically knocks her out. And then she wakes up tied to a chair. Everyone's mad. Sylvia has a hammer in her hand. And then they pull a little bit of a Tom and Jerry, and it's really a double cross.
His name is Ray.
Okay, thank you for that.
Joe Lynch is in the basement.
He's just smashing keyboards. He's mad. But yeah, and so Samara, they play out the fact that she's going to not survive this movie, but of course she is. But yeah, so that's her versus her boss. That's what we were trying to get at 20 minutes ago.
Before Sloth entered the picture of his brass knuckles.
Yeah, that usually derails everything, so...
I can't help it. I really need that shirt design with Sloth in a fucking suit with brass knuckles that it just says, bullets are for cowards. It's so good.
Make the font just look like a crayon, draw it.
Yes.
I told you guys, I'm a fucking genius. I'm just stupid as shit.
Holy shit, that's so funny.
Anthony, you got anything else for us on this?
I'm trying to remember when this takes place. But there's that therapist guy. There was some guy who was using meditation to stay calm.
That's his friend.
Okay, that's his friend. They show one scene of him, like he's in the office, and this is when the virus took over. It's just him just calmly cutting like a bonsai tree, and then it just intercuts like metal scenes where he's just like chopping the bonsai tree, like
he's just destroying it.
He's just like going ape shit on his tree. I just wanted to touch upon that.
It's such a fun cut. It really is.
Yeah.
It's that manic energy that this movie fucking needs.
Right. Yeah, that's basically like one of the best. I think that's why this movie is so enjoyable because, like you said, it's just all manic energy the whole time. It starts and it just doesn't stop.
Exactly. Like, it has a bit of a build-up in the beginning with the whole workplace drama of what Derek's going through, but as soon as the SWAT team enters the scene, the movie is just like, all right, time to tie your shoes. We're going for a walk. You're coming with me. Like, this is Sloth. It's a good ride.
Discord just cuts out all my laughter, but I'm just sitting here dying right now. Holy shit. So, yeah, he does get up to his boss. They have that final showdown. He offers him a partnership deal. He declines. Mine's bigger than yours, always is.
We skipped a part.
Oh, wait, what part did we skip?
We skipped the confrontation with the siren.
Oh, yeah. Make more fucking coffee.
Yeah, so she's been yelling at her like assistant the entire movie. Her name's Meg, and she just wants coffee. They do a really quick thing to say that like things like antidepressants and caffeine and I think nicotine like boost the effects of the virus, and then immediately it cuts to her screaming for more coffee. So she's been cracked out this whole time. And then when she gets the call from corporate, like, hey, they got the key card to your level, they're on the way, you need to destroy your card to make sure, like, he doesn't get it. And she's like, no, I'm not, because that's my leverage. So the compromise is the guy offers her the partnership, which eventually goes to Derek, and she immediately says deal, and then gives Meg her card. And it's like, get rid of it, don't tell me where you put it. And then that's when Derek and Melanie show up. And they are peaceful when they first meet these people. Like, they sit down in her office and they're like, all right, we want this, you want that. And they're like, work with me, I'll work with you. And she's just like, no, that's not how it works. And then eventually they do come to a deal. And so she asks for Meg to bring her card. And Meg just basically gives her a piece of burnt plastic and says that she threw it in the microwave.
They knew you'd betray them, so they had me destroy your card, so they'd give me your spot in your position.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't work for you anymore, bitch. And then she stabs her to death. And then when we next see the siren, she's dead on a treadmill face down, and the fucking thing's moving and just like basically just like ripping her face off. And there's just like blood on the wall, and he just like sends a video to the boss with his next threat where he's just like, she's dead, you're next. And he's just like, oh, fuck that, I gotta take a piss. He's like, I'm gonna piss on that corpse of your friend. That's apparently equal. But yeah, that's the siren. She comes off as like a huge threat, but her showdown is ultimately underwhelming compared to the first guy. But I do like that it's different, and it's not just another like Kill Bill style like fight or something. Like it actually has like a different way that it goes about. So I do like it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like gets what's coming to her, but someone she's been treating more shitty than anyone else because it's like her direct assistant that's always by her. So
right,
it's like, yeah, she had it coming.
And then going back to so this is after Derek and Samara Weaving's character, they have sex. So they're just laying there afterwards, and they're talking about like I think they were bringing up about top 3 bands, and then Derek says his favorite band is Dave Matthews Band. And she's giving him shit about it. And what do you know, like, I can't remember exactly when it comes into the movie, but they actually play Dave Matthews Band, Satellite, I believe it is.
Is that the scene where he hooks up his iPod to the iHome before he fights everybody before the siren?
I think so.
Because I don't know the song because I don't listen to DMB, but I remember because there's a needle drop at that point, and then there's a needle drop at the like next montage of fight stuff. So it must have been one or the other.
Yeah, they're like during one of the montage scenes, like they play this metal track.
And the music in this movie too, like this beyond the needle drops, just like it's like synthy, but it's almost like sad sounding. Like I don't know, it almost sounds like the theme from like The Social Network or something that just plays. It's really beautiful. And I remember my girlfriend, every time like it would come up, she would just be like, "Oh wow, like I like that." She said that every time.
Yeah, the music in this movie is like it's somber in its own way. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I like it. I know, like I can't remember who did the music exactly. I had the page up. Where'd it go? The Steve Moore made the music. So that's who.
Steve Moore.
Yeah, he did a handful of things. Nothing like super, like, you know, crazy. Like I said, it's a handful. It's if you know anything, Mind's Eye 2016, VFW from 2019, Bliss 2020. Like I said, it's nothing like super mainstream, but it's like it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a shout out to that guy for making one hell of like a dope, somber, thing for this movie.
Yeah, it definitely fits everything. And then the needle drops are a lot of fun when they come in.
Bullets are for cowards. Sloth. I thought probably. I'm sorry, this is on my mind now, and I can't stop laughing at it in my head.
I'm sorry. I take these nightmares and I make them exist somewhere beyond my own.
Well, you guys have been talking about the plot. I've been being a piece of shit and actually making that design in the background.
That's fantastic.
I'm just like, oh no, what is wrong with me?
Yeah,
it's
so to continue on. So now you can go with the ending scene where, so basically, they get that final key card, they show up. Did you want me to continue, or did you want to go ahead and?
Oh, you could go if you want.
Okay. So they get up to the final floor. So as soon as they walk out of the elevator, everybody's clapping. And then pretty much like the guy tries to offer him a promotion. He has these like two random chicks that just show up for no reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much like trying to entice Derek into signing. It's just like,
you want a blowjob, pal?
It's like, sign it and I'll suck your cock. The other one's like, sign it and I'll help her do it. But basically, he doesn't do it. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do what I came here to do, and we're gonna fight.
Sorry, ladies, I got Samara weaving booty to take care of.
She needs a house really badly.
Yeah. And I'm gonna live in that house.
And get a dog. I think they said that.
Yeah, they talked about that. Made a joke about it.
I wonder what kind of dog he would get. He strikes me as like a French bulldog kind of like guy.
Oh yeah.
That's just me. I don't know.
I think she would want a pit bull.
Something that could rock sunglasses with her.
Something commanding.
Yeah.
I got a pit bull. She's adorable.
Aw, perfect. You answered my question.
Yes, she is.
Good.
Oh, God. Well, I'm about to post this draft image into this group.
I'm so excited.
We gotta see this.
It doesn't have the font yet, but there it is. I like.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
I'll have to throw it up in up on the video during editing, so whoever's viewing the YouTube version of this can see it. But yes, I've made the sloth in a suit with brass knuckle things. Bullets are for cowards.
My internet is taking forever to load. I
So-
need to see this.
We got any final thoughts on Mayhem before we end this?
This shirt is fucking beautiful. Those are my final thoughts.
Sloth is beautiful.
Sloth looks beautiful in a suit.
He
I vote for
really
him.
does.
So I guess to wrap the movie up, so yeah, Derek and the boss have their battle, and then so basically, Derek has him. Pretty much he's pretty much gonna be ready to push him over the edge. He looks over because the nine aren't in the room the whole time, like while they're fighting. So he looks over to them. So one thing they bring up is they do this like gladiatorial style of like
Voting system.
yeah. So they pretty much vote him off. He throws him down. Right after that, they offer him the position, and like we said earlier, he takes it long enough to just sign the paper for Melanie, and then quits right after. He goes on to lead. They show a scene of him in that painting class, and then she's in there with him, and I think that pretty much end on that.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, we got together, happy ever after.
Yep. They all get to live on scot-free.
Yeah.
Because, you
But
know,
this
the
movie was
survivors
great.
are survivors. The movie is great. The movie's it's a wonderful piece of like thriller action comedy. Is it a thriller? Would you describe it as a thriller? It's a ride for sure.
It's a ride. Like it's a tough one because it like is its own thing. Like it's definitely like I would say like action horror because I don't know thriller at least to me like tells me like there is like an element of suspense going on, whereas in this there really isn't. But the horror is, I mean, technically it's a body horror movie. It's like a hybrid of body horror and zombie, but it's not either of those. Like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I would say like horror action comedy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It's so hard for me to describe it as a horror, even though it's labeled as a horror. But yeah, it's more body horror.
Yeah.
To me, horror is like scary. I'm like, this movie is not scary.
No, I mean on IMDb it's listed as an action comedy horror thriller. So I guess everybody wins if you want to do that.
Yeah. I guess the thrilling part of it is, yeah, they're on a timer because the cure is gonna kick in, and then they won't be able to kill whoever they want to kill.
Isn't it like 8 hours they get before the cure comes in?
Yeah.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an 8-hour countdown, which adds to the whole video game feel of it.
Oh yeah. This is a video game. The movie.
It's not quite Hardcore Henry, but it's there.
Yeah, I've never seen Hardcore Henry. I still gotta get around to that.
It's a trip. It has no right being as good as it is, but man, it is dizzying.
I remember I heard people getting motion sickness from it, and I was just like, it looks like a fun movie.
It's fun. I definitely would recommend it. If you're interested, I would recommend it, but I would not tell you to go out of your way.
Yeah, I've been interested. I just never got around to it.
You should. It's I forgot what the guy did. The guy did like one other movie that was really impressive, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, it's definitely a fun one.
I'm gonna have to get around to that. Hardcore Henry. Oh, so yeah. Final thoughts? Is that our final thoughts?
Go see it, folks, if you've not seen it yet.
Yeah. Support
Is it still on
Joe
Shudder?
Lynch. The dude is fantastic.
Yes. Actually, that's one thing I was going to bring up. He has a film that he just did called it's called Suitable Flesh. I believe it's still in theater. It's left theaters, and they think you can rent it right now. Pretty much going back to the style of H.P. Lovecraft and everything, like kind of like they kind of describe it like a little bit like it's in the mouth of madness. So I definitely been excited to check that one out.
Yeah, it's based off one of those Lovecraft stories. I don't remember which one, but it stars Barbara Crampton. It has the same producers as Reanimator. It has a lot of people attached to it on a technical side that like are classic like 80s horror people. So it seems like it has a lot going for it. They call it like dangerous cinema because he like really tried to emphasize sexy in it. It stars Heather Graham, who is another Austin Powers callback, so we can keep that train going. But no, I agree. I was actually really excited to see that. I think it popped on Vudu this week as we record this, so yeah, that'll be once the price drops. I'm definitely jumping on that one.
Right.
Huh. It sounds cool.
Yeah,
I'll
boy.
have to check it out. All right. Well, that was our thoughts on Mayhem. It's an excellent movie. I recommend going to see it. It's definitely a very fun must-watch for me. I recommend it.
Yep, I'd give it a strong 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. And much like that, much like Steven and Samara at the end of that movie, the survivors were survivors.
Even to this day.